So Adobe Photoshop 25 has just dropped and it's got some really exciting features which have come over from their beta app, which means we can all now enjoy them. Okay, so let's jump into the new version of Photoshop and take a look at what is new. So when we first jump into Photoshop 25, we are met with this image. It will give you a little tutorial on how to use the new tools. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight in and have a little play and see what we can come up with. So I'm going to use the lasso tool, make a selection around the house. So Generative Fill, and give it a little prompt of change to a red house with its lights on. Great. So you will see over in this side, we get a few options to choose from. And if we don't like what it's generated, we can click here, generate more. I like that one. Right. So another thing that is new to this version is we can take this context bar, which is a helpful new tool, and then click pin to bar position and it will now stay there, which is very helpful. Right, we'll use the lasso tool again and I'm going to select this bottom area here. What we're going to try and do here is fill it with water. Okay, so we have now got water. Some have worked out better than others. That's interesting, but not quite what we're looking for. I like in this one, it's obviously pulled out the reflection. Not quite the same house, but it's had a go. But I'm going to stick with one of these waterfalls. The next thing we will do is we will select the sky. Obviously you can do this more precisely, but for this, I'm going to give it a night. See what that comes up with. Quite like that. Another thing that we can do is add things to the images. So we'll select this little section here, click Generate Fill and type grazing cow. Generate. So it's given us our 3 options. I think that one's the best. And the last thing I'm going to try and do on this image is get rid of this rock formation on the edge of the image. So we'll go back to our lasso tool, roughly select round. And we're just going to leave this empty here. So we'll click generate and then just generate again. And then it will work out how to fill the blank. Oh, it's done a great job there. Let's stick with that one. So there is our AI edited image. I think it's pretty good, giving us some interesting results. So the next thing we're going to do is jump into one of my images and I'm going to show you one of the ways that I think I will probably mostly be using this technology. One thing that really bugs me about Instagram is that it likes you to post in the 4:5 kind of portrait aspect ratio, but often, especially with my drone, I'm taking landscape images, which means I then have to crop in to the image, which isn't always ideal. So what I'm going to do now is use the Generative Expand, which will allow us to change the aspect ratio of the image. So what we'll do is we'll click on the crop tool. You have to select up here and make sure it's on its Generative Expand. And then aspect ratio, I've picked the 4:5. And what we'll do is we'll just drag this up here, so it's the same width of the image. And then I'm going to put this so the horizon line is dead in the middle. And then we'll click generate. You can obviously give it prompts, but I'm just going to ask it to work out what it thinks should be there. And I think that's done a pretty good job. It's filled in the sky nicely. I like that. And it's not actually done a bad job of adding in the wake from the boat. One thing that's worth pointing out though is the resolution on these generative fills is not as high as the resolution of the main image. So if we zoom in here, you'll see where the original image is, it's crystal sharp. But if we go down where it's generated the image, it's a little bit weak. But up in the sky, it's done a pretty good job. So let's really test this and see if we can get it to remove the boat and the wake altogether. I have to say, I am pretty impressed with that. It's got the reflection of the sun in there. I think it's done a great job. I wouldn't necessarily use it like this, but it's definitely exciting that it can do this sort of thing. So there we are, exciting times. I'd love to know your thoughts. So if you could leave those in the comments, that would be great. If you could give this video a thumbs up, that would be awesome. If you haven't subscribed, then you know what to do, and we'll see you in the next one.